Just wrap up the year with a couple of final lessons. The first one that I want to do here is out of chapter 10. It's lesson 10.5, the Pythagorean Theorem. Pythagoras was a guy that lived, a super long time ago in Greece, and he was a great mathematician. He did a lot of stuff with geometry. And so the thing he's probably most famous for is his theorem that has to do with right triangles. So if a triangle is a right triangle, then it has these parts. These things have to be true if it's got a right triangle, or if it is a right triangle. First of all, it's going to have one right angle. Can it have two right angles?
No.
No. You can't have a triangle with two right angles because then it would have to be a square or a rectangle. Okay, because the interior angles of a triangle, do you know what those add up to? If you add up the 180 degrees. So if you have two right angles, you have 180 degrees. You don't have any degrees left over for that third side that you need, right? So a right triangle will have one right angle. It's going to have two sides that are called legs, and those are the two short sides of the triangle. And then the longest side is always the side that's across from or opposite from the right angle. And it's got a special name in right triangles. It's called a hypotenuse. I don't know what that word means other than it's the long side of a right triangle. But you can't, unless it's a right triangle, it doesn't have a hypotenuse. So if you have an isosceles triangle and the one side is really long, it's not a hypotenuse unless it's a right triangle. You with me? Okay, so those are the parts of a right triangle that we're going to be talking about today. So now we're all on the same page as far as the parts are concerned. Here is what Pythagoras was best known for, his formula. If a triangle is a right triangle, then the square of the length of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the lengths of the legs. It's a lot of long mathy words, but you know what all of them mean. What does it mean to square something?
Multiply it by itself.
Multiply it by itself. So if we take c times c, is what that's saying, then c times c is equal to the sum of the lengths of the legs squared. So it's a squared and b squared, right? A times a plus b times b equals c times c. That's all we're saying. In other words, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. All right, does that make sense? Okay, let's put it into practice. Use the Pythagorean theorem to find the missing side length of each right triangle. So we've got two legs here, which are a and b, so we would have 3 squared plus 4 squared equals c squared. Now, order of operations is all you have to worry about. What do we do first? Exponents come first. So what's 3 squared? 9 plus 16 equals c squared. What's 9 plus 16? 25 equals c squared. Now what? Square root of each side. What's the square root of 25? Technically, the square root of 25 is plus or minus 5, right? Which one do we care about? It's got to be positive 5 because you can't have a triangle that's side length of negative 5. So even though technically the answer is plus or minus 5, all I really care about is the positive one. So c equals 5 inches. Couple more examples like these. Pythagorean theorem. All right, so we're going to have what? Set it up. 10 squared plus 24 squared equals c squared. So 100 plus 576 equals c squared. 676 equals c squared. Square root of both sides.
26.
So 26 equals c. 26 inches. All right, we don't have to just find the hypotenuse, we can find the lengths of the legs as well. And so if we have 7 squared plus b squared, right, equals what? 15 squared. So 49 plus b squared equals 225. Subtract 49. B squared equals how much?
176.
176. Square root.
13.2664.
Okay, I think your instructions today and your homework are going to say round to the nearest hundredth.
Okay, 13.3.
13 point,
Wait, oh, 100, my bad. 27.
13.27 inches. That's it. I mean, that's the Pythagorean theorem. You use it to find missing side lengths of a triangle. You also can use it to prove whether or not a triangle is a right triangle. So we have two pictures here, and we can't just go by a picture. If we know the side lengths, we've got to use the side lengths to determine if it's a right triangle or not. And so how would we determine if this one is a right triangle?
Put them all in the equation.
Yeah, 7 squared plus 24 squared equals 25 squared. If that's true, we've got a right triangle. If it's not true, it's not a right triangle. So, 49 plus, what was it, 676? 576 equals 625. So that'd be 5, that's going to be true, isn't it? 625 equals 625. So that one is a right triangle. That's all we've done is prove that it's a right triangle. So now this one, hint, hint, what do you think is going to happen? Probably not. 25 squared plus 15 squared equals 45 squared. So that's 625 plus 225 equals, I have no idea.
2025.
2025? Well, I don't know what this is, but it's sure not 2025. It'd be 850. 850 equals 2025. So that is, we just draw a slash through the equal sign. It does not equal 2025. Doesn't mean this triangle is broken. Doesn't mean we need to fix it. It just means it's not a right triangle, right? We good?
Yes.
By the way, actually, this triangle is broken. Can anyone tell me why?
It looks crooked.
It looks crooked.
It does. It has a right.
Listen, here's why. Go ahead.
The angle's not add up to 180.
Well, this is an impossible triangle because what's 15 plus 25? 40. 15 plus 25 is 40. And you can't have, it's impossible to make a triangle where one side is longer than the sum of the other two sides. Yeah, you can't do it. Like if you make a triangle that has a 3-inch side and a 4-inch side, then this side can't be 3 plus 4 is 7. So this side can't be 9 inches. It just doesn't work. The numbers don't add up. So since these two only add up to 40, it's impossible to have a side length that's 45. Anyway, that's freebie part of the lesson. That's not part of your assignment. Go ahead.
But the other one adds up to more than 25, so.
That's okay.
Yeah.
7 plus 24 is greater than 25. 25 plus 24 is bigger than 7. 7 plus 25 is bigger than 24. As long as two sides add up to be bigger than the third side, that works. Okay? But when two sides like this don't add up to be bigger than that one, it can't work. You'll learn all about that next year in geometry.
Yeah, I will.